So definitely don't get into it because of the lifestyle. Get into it only because it triggers or intrigues you and triggers your passion. You shouldn't join a family business because it's there, unless and until at some point, at some level, it triggers your interest, or the burden of proof falls on the newer generations to actually show them the advantage of, say, technology implementation in business execution.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Entrepreneurship Simplified. And this show is going to introduce you to those brilliant ideas and the biggest entrepreneurs who will help you to decode the entrepreneurship to its roots, the real life situations, challenges, failures, and successes, so that you don't need to repeat the same mistakes, rather focus on your growth to realize your dream of becoming an entrepreneur much faster. And this show is being done in association with Young Indians. Young Indians is a movement for Indian youth to converge, lead, co-create and influence India's future. And YI is playing a proactive role in India's development process. If you want to take part of India's growth and be successful, YI is a place to be. Bear in mind, this show has no script. Everything you hear is actually heart to heart with real life experiences. And today's guest is a third generation entrepreneur. He completed his master's in management information systems in Australia and did a short-term course on wheat-based processing at CFTRI Mysore. Now managing director for the single largest multi-product manufacturing company of bakery products. Placed their products in most of the largest chains in India like Reliance, Metro, Spencer's, and more, and Big Bazaar. He created global standards in this industry by following GSI. He currently is responsible for overall business operations. Help me to welcome the managing director of Just Breads, Mr. Vinay Dutt Chalasani. Hi Vinay, how are you doing?
Hi Rajesh, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. First of all, I want to say a big thank you for being part of this show and sharing your experience. Third generation entrepreneur means you must have really kind of got so many standards which are kind of from generations to generations. What kind of impact it has in you running the business in your own style?
So I would rather classify this as an advantage to start with, because there are a few things that run through generations where you're told that it is always about creating an impact for the society. Also, business is also creating an impact for the society, and also taking care of your own or of your employees, delivering the right product. So rather than just wealth creation for ourselves, it is about wealth generation as a whole and creating that opportunity for a lot of people. So that actually set a mood for me to actually choose entrepreneurship as my way forward.
I love this perspective, Vinay, totally. Saying that instead of saying that so many generations are bringing the rules, generally that's what is the most common notion in family business, but you're saying this as an advantage. But let me ask, if there is something that, probably your father has set up as a standard in your organization, but you see it as probably an outdated thing, and then you really want to take it forward to the next technology or probably the next standard that is available globally, how do you make that change to happen?
Just as an addition to what I was saying earlier, even though considering it as a major advantage, there is always this a resistance to change, if I put it that way, in every aspect of life. More so in a business which generations ahead of me have seen success or are set in their ways, to rather say it more specifically. The burden of proof or the burden of success falls on the new generation to actually create a smaller concepts of success and then take it to a larger scale. So because here the argument that comes from the elder generations is, we have seen success, this is a model that has worked for us for years together, so why don't you stick to it? So I would consider that the burden of proof falls on the newer generations to actually show them the advantage of, say, technology implementation in business executions.
Yeah, this is very interesting aspect that you're bringing in. Now, if somebody who's just completed the education, say, right, and they just want to decide between, one is they have their own family business, and then they really want to go forward just because they have the kind of reservations around it. But somehow they decided to go forward with the family business. So what kind of mindset they should carry while entering into the family business?
You shouldn't join a family business because it's there, unless and until at some point, at some level, it triggers your interest, or it at some level, some passion towards the business. Because at the end of the day, if it is the reason for you to join the business is because it's there, then I don't think you would add much value to it.
So I see this. So whether it is a family business or any other business, people should have that specific interest so that they can put their heart and soul in making sure that the value is added to the end customer. This is amazing.
Exactly.
The current generation, it's a very cool word. Most of the people now, they speak about, startup. So I just want to ask this question, right? If somebody has to decide at that time, saying that whether they want to really start their own business, be it a startup or any business for that matter, or they want to choose the career, like start getting some kind of exposure into, being an employee and working under some experienced people, what kind of criteria they need to think in their mind before taking a decision whether I should start my own business or get a job?
If you are looking at starting a business, you should truly understand what it takes to be in business. Because here, especially in startups, there's no direction. In most cases, there is no precedence. So a lot of work has to go into that, and one should be very, very, very well aware and prepared to put in more time, resource, and effort when you're looking into doing your own startup, as opposed to doing a business where there is already a set direction, there are targets, there are goals already set, and already procedures in place. But whereas when you're looking at your own startup or your own business, most commonly you don't even have a precedence. If you're considering new startups where they are solving an existing problem, or if you're looking at a business by itself which is not technology driven or not more on the lines of technology startups, then you should be well prepared to give in that extra time, effort, and more importantly, more perseverance towards what you want to achieve.
For your industry, do you have any kind of a timeline that people should think, okay, next 3 years I'm really needing to put my extra effort so that to see themselves whether they're ready or not? Is there any timeline that you can suggest?
I wouldn't say there are set timelines for certain kinds of businesses or set timelines for your career or something, but again, I would circle back to the core point that how much do you want to do it? That will decide your timelines. Because see, if I have to take my own example, so I've been in this business for this was started in 2007 and it's almost 13 years now. So I joined full-fledged when I joined this business. To be very, very specific, I only knew the business side of it, like how to sell, where to sell, how to strike a deal and all that. Then I did not have a lot of timelines in mind. But what I realized after I joined the business and decided on taking it up to the next level from where it was earlier, then I thought also understanding the technical side of it, like in our case, what it takes to bake a bread, what it takes to set up a machinery, how do you decide on what products to launch, how do you decide on what kind of packaging that you want to go into. Those are the technical sides of the business. So that is when I decided that I wanted to get a wholesome information on what the entire business entitles. So that's where I did my course from CFTRI in Mysore to understand what it takes to do baking. So that gave me a perspective on what else I can do. When I get an idea on what else I can do or how big I can make this market, that is where the timelines are dynamic. See, today you want something. Initially, when we started off, we thought we should be a supplier to all the modern trade. That was a timeline that I set in a year. But then that goals changed and new timelines came into place. New goals came into place, where I wanted to be a preferred partner or preferred supplier for the entire state. And then that again changed, and the next goal or the next and every goal comes with your timeline. So the next goal was to be a preferred supply partner for entire South India. So when you understand the business and when you grow and when you mature in your own business and business practices, and when you understand what's happening around in the market, so accordingly your goals and dependent on them, the timelines automatically change. And timelines are how fast you want to make it. In today's competitive world, you have to rush, or somebody else is already doing it for you, doing it for themselves rather.
Okay, I mean, I see that kind of passion in you when you're actually explaining, right, how the goals have been changing. But I also know that you've implemented these, global standards, GSI within your organization. You're kind of almost a leader in doing this kind of identification process and all. I mean, what kind of thought process has gone into your mind when you're really kind of implementing a global standards? Is it there right from the beginning, or is it part of your next goals, that demanded something like that?
This is a business which has a very, very, very low entry barrier, or had a very, very low entry barrier back then, because there were no proper regulations in place, and this was a very, very fragmented kind of a business. Because bread was more of a commodity. We started off with just breads, and it was more of a commodity. So what we decided was, the market was growing, the awareness was growing about the product. To be different from others, we wanted to create our own shelf. So that is when we decided we wanted to go with only the modern trade outlets, where a new trend, or I would rather say a retail revolution, was happening in India back in 2007. That is when all the corporate retail outlets were coming into play, and they were looking for players who were standardized in their procedures and protocols, who had a standard quality and supply chain in place, quality product and a proper supply chain in place. So to create the difference from all the other players is what led us to create these standards. So these were a different, distinct features that we had from all the other products or all the other players that were already operating in the market in the given segment. So to create that differentiation or the edge factor, or to create our own shelf in the modern trade, is what led us to implement all these standards.
At this moment, if they want to start something like what you're doing now, right? All the bakery products with a standardized procedure and all, what is the kind of entry barrier they can really kind of consider?
Today, if you're looking at a multi-product bakery, when I say a multi-product bakery line, is we manufacture close to 65 different SKUs on a daily basis. And we have a portfolio of more than 100 products. So we have 4 different lines of manufacturing. So it is not necessary that everybody does what we do. To get into, say, bread manufacturing, the entry level, entry barriers are still not very high. But then again, it is your choice to make on what level of standardization that you want to get, what level of quality parameters and protocols that you want to set in place.
Entrepreneurship is, most of the people, they see the cars, these entrepreneurs, and the lifestyle of these entrepreneurs, and think that, that is why I really want to start, because I love that lifestyle. But like you said, it is never a good idea to, get into any business just because it is there. So now, what kind of, journey that you think an entrepreneur is? Is it a very easy journey? Or if it is difficult, how you generally deal with those challenges?
Maybe the lifestyle, maybe the car, or whatever. That's only after the effect. That's not what it starts with. That is not a necessity. That is a lifestyle choice. So there are also very, very frugally living billionaires, and there are also very flamboyantly living millionaires. So it is a personal choice again. But when you get into entrepreneurship, it is not just about the fad around it. It also takes a lot of hard work. It also takes a lot of perseverance, at some level, some sacrifices. And when I say sacrifices, it's predominantly in your social life, not like any other predominant sacrifices, but probably your social life. But then once you set your procedures and protocols and everything in place, how early you can do that is how early you can look at a bigger picture. So definitely don't get into it because of the lifestyle. Get into it only because it triggers or intrigues you and triggers your passion.
This is the $1 million message for you, audience. So just never get into the business for the sake of fat or the lifestyle that you see. It is an after effect, like Vinay says. And very, very important point to note here is it takes enormous effort, at the same time persistence, to get into the lifestyle choice that you have. So I want to say, Vinay, thank you so much for being part of this show and also sharing all your experience and the way that you're really leading the industry by continuously, evolving within the industry and taking it forward. And is there any last advice that you have before we conclude this very, very interesting conversation, Vinay?
Entrepreneurship is really a good thing. Get into it for wealth generation for everybody, not just for yourself. So get into it and look at a bigger picture.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Vinay. Thank you so much for being part of the show. And if you people have not yet liked or subscribed, make sure to do it now and also share with every single person out there where this message can make an impact in their life so that they make the informed decision. But otherwise, I'll see you with another amazing entrepreneur next week on the same show. But till then, we would say thank you and bye-bye.